That sound you just heard is our first UMC handbells. We saw them in worship over the Advent and Christmas season, but we only saw a few of them live, and only a few of us saw a few of them in person. Most of us saw most of them via live stream, and some were even pre-recorded because they had to practice and play in our CLC, which is the only room large enough for the whole group to be socially distanced. This reminds me how hard they and so many others have worked for Advent and Christmas. It's been so hard to not meet in person like we've always done. I'm sure you're getting tired of it. I know I am. Tired of COVID handcuffing us inside our houses. Hell, so many churches can't open without risking safety. Some of you, our church family, have contracted COVID since last time we talked. Some of you have told us that you don't go out except for the essentials, but you still contracted it. Most of you who contracted it had only the milder form of it, or your gifted autoimmune system was able to fight back, or maybe our beloved medical community helped you fight it back. Some of you have been able to avoid COVID, but you have no idea how many times you've been milliseconds away or maybe millimeters away from catching it. No matter what, we as a church are so blessed because things like our handbell teams take extra steps to love our neighbors like you. Think of the sights and sounds of the handbells from Advent for a moment. And now think about more recent news. Last night we had our first full church council meeting in over 10 months. We needed to cover the important topic of our annual church budget. So we arranged a Zoom call with the full team, and our finance team emailed everyone the budget about a week or so in advance so that they could begin asking questions. Several of us have talked about the difficulty of doing church business by email and Zoom, etc. But everyone agrees that we're fortunate that technology allows us such a safe option. By the way, it's not just us. Look up Governor Lee's Executive Order 73. He gives governing bodies in Tennessee full authority to use Zoom for official government business. So our lead team and health team also met last night to discuss updates from our governor, our bishop, CDC, State of Tennessee Department of Health, local authorities, etc. The hopes are that soon we will turn the corner on COVID with vaccines and treatments. But some very smart people are keeping their eyes on different places where they're seeing what medical scientists call COVID variants and mutations, and where they see people who once had a milder form of COVID did in fact contract it again the second time in the harsher flu-like form. So after a very detailed discussion, everyone on both the health team and the lead team agreed that we needed to postpone in-person gatherings for another 3 weeks. At the same time, we're asking our larger body of leaders to start working toward when we can resume in-person worship, to make extra accommodations for families with small children, consider ways to connect our youth, and to allow our more experienced adults to do things safely together. We're also beginning to envision First UMC in a post-COVID world, considering and planning for what we can do in coming months and years to create some new and safe normals for everyone. As I record this today, we have 2 leaders working with leaders in Franklin to develop a safe and affordable fogging system that will help not only with COVID, but also times like cold and flu season. We hope that once things are better and restrictions are loosened up, we are well positioned to be a healthy and holy force of God's grace in Dixon County. So please continue trusting God to work through our faithful leaders. And remember, you remain a key ingredient of Christ Church here. Now think again about bells. Church bells have warmed the hearts of people throughout the ages. Some historians trace them back to Italy with Bishop Paulinus, who led the church until he died in 431. So many places, so many people have heard bells ring out the glad news of Christmas, from the Emperor Bell in Moscow, the Great Bell of China at Peking, Big Ben of London, and the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. but it's church bells in local communities around the world, like our First UMC bells, which ring out every hour plus, to declare that no matter how difficult things are out in the world, the good news of Christ is here. Listen again to the sounds and see the faces of our handbell team. As you see each group playing, see how quickly you can name the song. Then think about the lyrics, those words that convey the message of that song. Try to envision the days when we can gather in person, can sing with all our hearts and shake hands and hug. And until then, stay safe and healthy. Continue trusting and loving God and praying for our leaders. We will do the same for you. And let us know if there's anything you need.